My name is Oliver. I was born in Minneapolis by the name of Margaret, but Oliver came when I was knee-high to a grasshopper. I came to Los Angeles right after high school, and I was looking for my place in Los Angeles. I lived in Hollywood, Studio City, Ventura, and one day a friend goes, "I think I know where you want to be." Nancy Super brings me to a place called Al's Bar. And I'm like, wait, this is what I've been looking for. This is obviously my home. It was dark. It was dank. It was charming. It was a labyrinth. It had a stage. It had a bar. It had restrooms, and it had a patio. What more can a girl ask for? And the characters were diverse. They had found themselves. They knew who they were. Whether you wanted to know them or not was your decision, but that was what made me completely attracted to Al's Bar. And I'm like, I'm going to work here. Fortuitively, in comes the boss, and I said, "Hey, Mark, I'm Oliver. I'm working here now." And he goes, "What?" And I said, "Here's my number." I put my arm around him. I said, "I'm working here now." And he goes, "Okay, come in on Saturday. There's like a benefit. The X is going to play, and all these people are going to play for..." Somebody had some bad disease. I didn't know who they were. And I said, "Fine." So I come in on Saturday, but they don't really have a job for me. There was a couple girls that just sort of kind of seemed like they were like, "Look, this is our job here, you know?" And I'm like, "I don't really want your job. I just want my job." So they gave me this Monday night gig, and no one had any control over this thing. So what I did was invited all these people who had energy in. Did some DJing, did some music. We made something called World Beat Night. We met all these people from Africa and South America, and every Monday night turned into this big, spectacular, funny Jamaican thing. Somebody made candle holders out of coconut, somebody else made this. I mean, everybody had an idea of what it could be. And, you know, and that's kind of my manifest in life, is like what you do and what you invest and what you believe is what can be. It's the funniest thing about my Monday nights were that I didn't know how to get home. I didn't have a car. I'd take the bus from Hollywood to downtown, and I would sleep on the roof of the American Hotel and then take the bus back the first thing in the morning. Somebody showed me that roof, and I was like, well, wait, instead of trying to figure out a taxi, which was ridiculously expensive in LA at that time, and also you'd wait forever in the middle of the night. I tried to take one. It was like 4 a.m. I'm standing outside the American Hotel. Then I figured out I have to live downtown. So some guy comes into Al's Bar going, "I got to rent my place for $200 a month." I said, "Where is it?" He said, "About 5 blocks." I said, "I'll take it." He goes, "Well, you got to get a hold of this guy named Keith Greco." So I pack up everything I have, which was a guitar, a bozo clown I bought at the garage sale the week before, a suitcase, a couple bottles of wine, and I go to this loading dock. Everybody who came out of the building, I said, "Hey, are you Keith Greco?" "Are you Keith Greco?" "No." "Are you Keith Greco?" "Oh, no, but I know him." "Are you Keith Greco?" Yeah, why?" I say, "I'm your new roommate." And he was a little nervous, but kind of intrigued, I think. It was just funny. We just had this like electric, "What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Let's get busy." He had curls, no dreadlocks. A couple days after I met him, he started growing his dreadlocks. And now they're almost to the floor. We had so much fun. The nights were filled with art. I remember one time I had all these white clothes, and we put them on, and Jaime and Keith and everybody was painting the clothes on our bodies. Every day there was a threat of the wrecking ball. But during this time, I meet this guy named Tony Mendoza. Tony Mendoza and I just instantly bonded. He's like, "You got to come to my loft." So I go see his art. Lunatic. He's talking about his beautiful soul, and he's painting pictures of like the Medellin cacao. He will put like his cigarette butts in the painting. So we were instant buddies. These people I met those days, these core people, are the people who I still consider some of my very best friends. There was this need for organization. Everybody had this talent, but needed to figure out what to do. So we started doing this thing called Saloon Gallery. It's like what's going on now is a pop-up. We'd go around to little fun places and say, "Hey, we're going to have a show for one night. We're going to bring a lot of people." And often we would actually paint the place and put some lights up. So they'd get an upgrade, we'd get a show. And we'd have different artists. We'd have music. Joe Baiza would come with his band. And then we'd have like some upcoming chefs would show up and do some food. And, and I cooked a lot at these events. And it was really, really fun. Profitable? Not really. I started to yearn for a little time away and quiet. Keith was like, let's do one more event. What would you do? I said, I want to do a marketplace. And when I talked about a marketplace to this guy named Bateki, he said, you have to call it Sunday Jump. That's the marketplace in the Congo. I said, okay, it's called Sunday Jump. We're like, well, we could set it up in an alley somewhere because Sundays shut down downtown. And we'll set up a marketplace and we'll have it go away before they're mad at us. So I thought, well, first of all, we're going to need fake security guards because I realized it was getting big. We gave them fake walkie-talkies. We gave them shirts that said security. So this plan was going. We had like 20 booths. We had 8 bands. Everybody was giving me money for the Sunday Jump booths. And somebody slipped in one of those little envelopes some magic mushrooms. And I'm in a convertible with Rolo Castillo. And I know I was burning some incense. I was probably smoking some pot too. Who knows? All of a sudden, cops pull us over. It was like the too much fun rule. Next thing I know, find this little thing of mushrooms that I don't even know I have. I go to jail 2 days before Sunday Jump. People are waiting to bail me out. Crackheads are leaving, pregnant crackheads who beat up their school teachers. The girl who swiped the baby got to leave jail. But I'm the bad guy. They're gonna find out why I had that money in my bag. I'm like, I'm a bartender, I'm having a party. Well, they find the flyers. They're like, we'll be there. So I get out of jail. And Saturday, everybody's showing up. It was beautiful. It was like one of those films where you see everybody kind of like showing up. The stage gets built. The boys are building. It's just all arriving. Suddenly there's a car that was abandoned. They turned it upside down and made it into a taco stand. It's just coming to fruition, and there's no stopping us. All these people are there. They're all doing their thing, and the cops do show up. And my fake security guy goes, wait, we just told the other guy. There was no other guy. No, the other cop. We just told him what we were doing. And the cop goes, oh, okay. And he left. Then helicopters came. We're all like, okay. It was hysterical. So then when the cops came the third time, they were like asking me, who runs this thing? So I find my friend Madeline. I'm like, Madeline, go tell them you run this thing and that we're a gallery. She handled it. They left. Party went on. We had Sunday Jump. And we realized, we're in. So the next one was planned. Sunday Jump lived without all that legal permitting, and we did it guerrilla style. I was always doing fashion. Hats were starting to really catch fire. The room I actually came across that I was most comfortable in downtown happened to be an old sewing factory. It was no longer. I didn't realize that when I got it. It was in the heart of Skid Row. But I went up these stairs and I was like, this is heaven. I built clothes there. They worked so well. And I realized it was the spirits of downtown that embraced me. About the American Hotel was it was like little pockets of creative lunacy and beauty. It was like going into pockets of somebody's brain. Now there were some aspects I would rather not have seen, but mostly there were creative people doing really good things. These people were like little seed pods waiting to blow up. You'd go up there and you'd see these paintings and these crazy sculptures in the tiny little room that they are waiting till they can expand. And sometimes I was able to help that by doing things like Sunday Jump or Saloon Gallery. So I set up a puppet show at the Joel Bloom General Store. And I remember like modeling things out of tinfoil right there at the store. I'm making puppets and that, grabbing things. Can I buy that? I need that candy. It's gonna be his hat. I made the American Hotel as my set. And there were windows and doors. So it was sort of like a little cabaret where you would have puppets kind of coming out and talking. It was a story about Al's Bar. But I remember building an Al's Bar set. Somebody got drunk at the Al's Bar in my story, and they went up to bed and lit the place on fire. To me, it was a little bit about let it burn if it can't be Al's Bar. And that's what I loved about the American Hotel and the people who lived there. Joe Bloom, what a character. He always had a great sense of humor. He was quick to temper. All of a sudden he'd be mad as hell and you'd laugh at him and then he'd be laughing too. Fucking hell, Oliver, what the hell are you doing here? You don't come ever and then all of a sudden you just show up. That's how he would greet me. That would be a hello. I met Don Jones probably 2 days into bartending at Al's Bar. Took me under his wing for sure. Said, I'll tell you everything about these people around here. They're all good, but I'll just let you know. He would go to Madagascar and study these people. He'd come down from upstairs, look what I got. It would be like a snake on the head of a rock of a thing. And I'd be like, awesome, dude. That's my buddy Don. When I moved here, he came down to New Orleans kind of regularly. And then he brought by these people who worked on the train. I was missing Los Angeles. They'd smuggle me onto the train. I'd end up in the dining car talking with all the old cats that worked on the train. I would bring the vodka and the shaker, the cards, and we would tell stories. I'd go to L.A. and then they'd smuggle me back. And Don Jones, I have to thank for that. Every country, you try to claim your territory. The artists found it, they started to claim their territory. And look what happened. They won. And the place is a damn arts district. Now it hosts art. Before, art was invading. We felt comfortable there. We felt like there was a place that we could build some art, some space. Now what's happening in downtown is art is sustaining the damn cities. We were the fringe, and now it is the sustenance, which is fabulous on one level. But I would never have been able to do what I did then. Sunday Jump would never happen. So very different spirit on that level, but I'm glad they're supporting the art. I'm glad it's there as an artist community. I mean, I live on St. Claude. St. Claude, right here in New Orleans, it's a street that was renegade, and it's just where the people came down to try to escape the water during Katrina. But they went right past this place, desperately trying to get out of water. And now it's becoming this art district. And there's a beauty and a grace to that. And I think downtown has some of that. We definitely didn't have it all easy all the time. I'm in New Orleans and I get invited back to come to the clubhouse. We're gonna do this thing called Soup Kitchen. Make big pots of soup, feed people, have some music, have some fun, get people together. So I'm making these huge pots of soup. Stirring the pots and 4 o'clock in the morning and an earthquake hits. And suddenly the stove stops, lights are out. And so we were like, what the hell do we do? And there was this food truck. They had a generator and they showed up and powered our event because the lights were out in downtown L.A. And this is the beauty of these boys. Keith Greco, Alberto, Rolo would figure out how to get things done so quickly, so easily. And it would happen. All these years living in New Orleans, it doesn't happen the same way. I miss, as a radical, the lawlessness and the proximity of all the characters that make you make art. But that happens everywhere. And so I say, bless it.
Cut.